Good morning. Many people ask this question: what to do when you have a difficult manager or an incompetent manager, rough manager you just don't seem to be able to deal with or even want to deal with? I get this question a lot. So I put together a list of 10 things that I advise you to do when dealing, 10 or so things that I advise you to do when dealing with such a manager. First, we have to understand our responsibilities. Managing your relationship with your boss is your responsibility. It's not the manager's responsibility only. So it's your responsibility to manage your relationship with your boss. Once you understand this, this will help you a lot. So you have to manage the relationship, which means you have to put in what is required to make that relationship healthy. Now, of course, if the boss is easy, is a competent boss, that makes it easier. You don't have to manage much. But again, the challenge for you is when your boss is difficult, or your boss is not, you cannot even tolerate your boss, you cannot stand this person. Then you have to really manage it, and that is your responsibility, managing the relationship with the boss. Check, is it healthy? Is it a healthy relationship? I don't care if he's a difficult or she's a difficult person, but how is your relationship with this boss? It's your responsibility. So if it's not working out, half of it is yours. Another thing you need to do, and this is also difficult, especially if you feel they do not deserve it, you have to make the boss shine. That is part of your responsibility. Remember, you're part of his or her team. So your success and his success are one. So they have to shine. So keep that in mind. I'm not saying it's easy, but it's a different attitude. It requires a shift in attitude. Also, you have to give the boss credit. You have to give the boss credit. You know, there must be things that the boss is doing well. You have to give credit. And you have to give credit without saying but, which means don't say, you know, the boss really tries, but he is not able to do so and so. Or the boss really is good in handling X situation, but he is not really good in handling Y. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm saying give credit, period. Another thing you need to do, you must listen to the boss. What is the boss saying? Sometimes this is not easy when we are stubborn or when we have a big ego or we feel we know everything. We don't want to listen to the boss. Especially if we feel we know more or better than the boss, then we don't want to listen. It's our opinion. And if he does not or she does not agree, they have a problem. No, we have to listen to the boss. We have to also yield. This is another thing I wanted to mention. You have to yield to the boss sometimes. And not yield, what I mean by yield is that maybe sometimes you have to go with their opinion. They are the boss at the end of the day. You express what you have, what you would like to do, what you feel is good, but always yield. It's okay to yield. I'm not saying yield immediately. You have a chance to express your opinion. They say, no, we want to do it a different way. That's it. Let's all do it a different way. Don't try to prove they were wrong. You have to help them. Ensure that what they need done is getting done. So never go back and try to make it fail so you can tell them, I told you so. It's very important. Another thing that works for me when I manage my boss and on tips that I usually give to managers I coach is always understand their point of view. They always bring a point of view. They are the boss for a reason. Even if it's a political reason, even if it is not job-related reasons, but they are the boss for a reason. So you have to understand their point of view. They bring in a valid point of view, whether you like it or not. Here's another one that is tough, especially if you feel that you know better than the boss. It's a very difficult feeling to have. So if you feel you know better than the boss, you have to remember to accept their role as the boss. He is the boss at the end of the day, whether you like it or not. Whether you approve of it, you don't have to approve of it. You don't have to appoint the boss, but he or she is the boss. And you have to accept their role as the boss over you. One of the things that causes bosses to be difficult is that they are trying to show you who's boss. Once you acknowledge it, that part of difficult will go away. So make sure you give them that. They are the boss and treat them as the boss and respect the fact that they are the boss. This is very important. See, people come back and complain about things not working out with the boss. They always throw it at the boss, but they never try to fix the relationship from their side. I'm giving you tips that work. if you are willing to work on fixing the relationship from your side. When you have an issue, always bring concerns privately. Don't question the boss in front of others. Bring it privately, especially if they did not ask for your opinion, right? Now, if they ask for my opinion, I will give it in a positive, constructive fashion. I've talked earlier, when I talked about open communication in previous videos, about how to do it in an open, constructive fashion, being positive. But if you're not asked your opinion, go talk privately, not in front of people when you are going against or different than the boss, and do that tactfully, diplomatically, because they are the boss. Now this varies. Some bosses are more tolerant to resistance than others. So you will have to know your boss. And this is the first point that we talked about, managing the relationship, understanding the boss. Since we're talking about understanding the boss, make sure you understand what is your role. What are you brought in to do in the organization? Sounds common sense. Many people are in organizations, they have no clue what they are in to do. They are just doing stuff as they come up. You need to know what your role is, and your boss can help you with it. Another thing you must do is to understand your boss's role. What are they doing for the organization? Why are they in their position? You have to understand that. Another thing that I like to advise is to always check for negative vibes that you might have about the boss. These negative vibes are not helping you. So look inside you, look at how you are thinking about the boss. Are you thinking positively or negatively? If you're thinking negatively, it's not because your boss is difficult or bad. It could be something, a reaction that you have to this kind of boss. So make sure you replace the negative vibes and negative thoughts with positive thoughts about the boss. There are things that are around you that are positive related to this boss. Definitely it has to be. Nobody is without any positive traits. So look at the positive side. And as I said, expand your responsibility to include managing the relationship. This is very important. Thank you very much for listening.